Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Jada told Xander she had a suspect in Sarah's accident in the town center. That's wonderful news. Who is that? Xander inquired. Jada declined to provide the driver's identification. Xander maintained that both he and Sarah were entitled to know. Jada shot back, and you will, if and when an arrest is made. Xander was enraged by Jada's reminder of the presumption of innocence and contended that the motorist had purposefully abandoned Sarah to perish in the roadway. Jada turned to walk away, but Xander caught her arm. Jada expressed to Xander her understanding of his anger. Xander remarked, "You have no idea what I'm going through." "Yes, I do. Because, like Sarah, Rafe is resting in a hospital bed." Jada shot back, "Yeah, I do know, and my heart hurts for the two of you." Jada threatened to have Xander jailed if he didn't allow her to handle the arrest on her own. Jada's arm was freed by Xander. "Oh, Jada, I'm so sorry," Xander stated. "I just don't know what came over me. I understand your frustration, but each time you complain about how slowly the investigation is going, it takes up more of my time to handle you rather than completing my work," Jada remarked. Jada said she would let Xander know as soon as she received further information. After thanking Jada, Xander inquired about the next step. Jada clarified that before continuing, she needed to speak with the DA. "I understand the feelings of helplessness you have when the person you love is resting in a hospital bed. Go, though. Go be with Sarah. You're needed," Jada said. Tate and Holly struggled to avoid everyone they knew as they limped out of the emergency room at the hospital on crutches. Holly remarked, "We are so fortunate that Dr. Green consented to keep your secret." Tate and Holly ran into Brady as they were walking by the nurse's station. "How are you doing?" Brady queried. Tate said, "It's just a sprained ankle." Brady, perplexed, inquired as to Tate's injury sustained at camp. Brady looked at Holly and asked, "And what is she doing here?" Tate sighed as he confided in Brady about his injuries sustained on Smith Island. "Why did you go there?" Brady queried. Tate revealed to Brady that he was staying at the Horton cabin and had never attended a camp. "Why would you do something like that, in the name of God?" Brady growled. "You understand why I would act in that way. So I could be with Holly without having to worry about anyone getting upset with us," Tate said. Brady was furious, realizing Tate had been lying to him all summer. Holly gave an explanation of her visitation with Tate at the cabin. Holly moved away as Brady begged to speak with his son. "I'm truly sorry. I know you're probably disappointed in me, but Holly is really important to me. This isn't a casual relationship. Just because my mother was being crazy and overly protective, I couldn't bear to be apart from her," Tate remarked. Tate brought up Brady's complaint that he had been paying for Aaron to attend camp, pointing out that Brady had shown no interest in the camp. Tate remarked, "At least Aaron is benefiting from it." Tate expressed regret. "I was this close to telling you the truth when Mom went to prison. However, you later urged that I return to the camp." Tate said, "I kind of got the impression that maybe you didn't want me to come home." "That simply isn't true," Brady countered. "Have you ever lied out of fear for someone else's reaction?" Tate queried. Brady recalled Kristen telling him she had disposed of the evidence because she felt he had been the driver in the hit and run. Kristen had told Brady to stay calm and stick to your story. Tate jolted Brady out of his reverie as he lost himself in contemplation. Xander approached Tate from behind, and Brady turned to face his kid. "I've heard about Sarah's situation, and I simply wanted to apologize," Tate murmured. Tate was thanked by Xander. Tate expressed his wish that the driver received exactly what they deserve. Xander acknowledged that they had a suspect in the case. Brady turned his head away. Maggie replied to Sarah, That's why I couldn't find the key the other night. Holly turned pale. What evening? Holly inquired. Maggie informed Holly that Sarah and Xander intended to spend their honeymoon at the cottage. Sarah reassured Holly that the plans had been made at the last minute, and Holly apologized. Holly, perplexed, inquired as to why they hadn't visited the cabin. Maggie clarified that Sarah had been struck by a vehicle while en route to get the cabin key. Holly gave a gasp. And if I had taken the key and you hadn't been on your way to Grandma's? Holly stumbled. Holly held herself responsible for Sarah's mishap. Sarah asked Holly to look at her as panic increased in her voice. You're not to blame for this. Sarah emphasized. You had no way of knowing what would happen. You'd be fine if Tate and I hadn't been sneaking around at the cabin, Holly whispered, her eyes welling with sorrow. Sarah gave a firm nod. Afraid, Holly stormed past Xander as soon as he walked into the room. What was the purpose of that? Xander inquired. When Sarah told Xander what had occurred, he concurred that Holly was not to blame. You could just as well say that the beginning of World War I was caused by a butterfly's wing flap. Xander stated. While Xander acknowledged that he was upset, the driver was the only one he held accountable. Sarah concurred. Xander informed Sarah that a suspect had been identified by Tate. Kristen called someone and arranged to meet in the Demura living room. Kristen turned to her father's portrait after the call. The mission has been successfully completed. As flat as a pancake, Brady's automobile is now, Kristen remarked. Kristen said to Stefano's photo that she was forced to shield her child's father. And took the actions I did to keep my family safe. As you would have, Kristen remarked. As soon as EJ entered, he asked Kristen what steps she had taken to keep the family safe. Kristen gave her explanation for having to fire Ava. Why did you let her go? EJ inquired. It was politicized, said Kristen. Kristen clarified Gabby's command. EJ declared, if it were up to me, I would have sacked both those vipers. Well, Kristen shot back. It's not. EJ grinned. Not right now. EJ replied. Kristen asserted that she would stop at nothing to preserve the family history. EJ stated, that was a shockingly unconvincing story. Kristen urged EJ to get Gabby to corroborate the account. Kristen was warned by EJ not to reveal her secrets out loud in front of Stefano's picture. EJ said, besides, I'm sure he knows all already. Given that Kristen was the CEO of Demura, EJ pondered aloud, scowling what she wanted out of life. Then he grinned. Brady Black, stated EJ when Jada entered the room. She asked to talk to EJ regarding Sarah's situation. Kristen nodded and stepped out of the living room, but not before hiding in the foyer just outside the doorway to listen in. Jada informed EJ all the proof that had been gathered thus far. The car has disappeared without a trace. Jada continued. Jada clarified that although the suspect had stated that the automobile was stolen, he had not reported it to the police. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.